Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chafic Nsouli. Thank you for the opportunity to address you today. In our well-established American judicial system, courtroom proceedings and different roles play in the courtroom are vital to any legal proceeding. Each person who enters a court is presumed innocent unless proven otherwise. I will take the next few minutes to explain the roles of each person involved in the courtroom process. The roles that I'll discuss today are the plaintiff, the respondent, the accused or the defendant, the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the judge, victims, witnesses, police, and members of the jury. Okay. We'll start with the plaintiff. The plaintiff is a person who sues or brings a civil suit, or they'll file an action in court against a defendant or against the accused. The party that caused harm, so the plaintiffs can also be individuals. They could be businesses, they could be different classes of individuals. Plaintiff is an individual or entity who brings a case to court. In civil cases, the plaintiff seeks what they perceived as what was wrong or injury, and they are usually the one who initiates the legal proceedings. The plaintiff has the burden of proving their case by providing evidence and presenting arguments to the court. The respondent is a party who responds to the plaintiff's claims. In civil cases, they defend against the allegation made by the plaintiff. So it's the person being sued. According to our text, the respondent is a party who has also won the last court. The accused, or the way that I like to think of them as the defendant, in criminal cases, the accused is the individual charged with committing a crime. The accused has the right to a fair trial, which includes the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. The accused can either plead guilty or not guilty and is responsible, and it is the responsibility of the prosecution to prove guilt of the accused beyond a reasonable doubt. So that goes to you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Our text talks about the fact that the accused is also referred to as a defendant. The defendant may present facts that show that he or she did not commit the crime. A defendant or the accused will enter a plea of not guilty, guilty, and usually after that, a trial date is set. So the prosecutor represents the government in criminal cases and is responsible for bringing charges against the accused. Their role is to present evidence that supports the case against the accused and to argue that the accused is guilty of the crime. Prosecutors must do so with the highest ethical standards, ensuring that justice is pursued and not just a conviction. The text talks about the vital role that prosecutors play in the criminal justice system and how they work closely with law enforcement. They also work closely with judges, defense attorneys, probation, and parole officers. The prosecutors can order arrests, present cases to grand juries, and based on their findings, they can decide whether or not a case goes to trial. Interesting facts that I learned about prosecutors from the Bureau of Justice Statistics. In 2020, there was more than 35,000 attorneys employed by the state prosecutors' offices across the United States. About 80% of full-time attorneys employed as state prosecutors were Caucasian, and half were female. State prosecutors' offices reported a 44% increase in staff from 1992 to 2020. Now, opposite to prosecutors is the defense attorney. The defense attorney represents the accused and is tasked with defending them against the charges brought by the prosecution. Their role is to ensure that the accused receives a fair trial, challenge the evidence presented by the prosecution, and protects the rights of their client. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the defense attorney is also a legal counsel and representation either in criminal or civil proceedings as provided by the public defender or other government programs that pay the fees of court appointed. Our text talks about the fact that defense attorneys represent the defendant. After charge, they have been filed through the pretrial process in a trial and during sentences, and they may also appeal if the trial did not go in the defendant's way. Judges play a major role in our judicial system. The judge is a neutral authority figure in the courtroom. Their role is to ensure that the trial proceeds according to the law, ensuring fair and orderly proceedings. The judge makes decisions on legal issues, provides instructions to the jury, and ultimately, in some cases, they'll decide the verdict. According to our text, in the eyes of most Americans, the judge is a key player in the courtroom. Judges make rulings on parties' motions, such as motions to exclude certain physical evidence or testimonials, motions to compel discovery, and motions to change the venue. Judges are responsible for presiding over the pretrial, the trial, and sentencing hearings, as well as probation and parole revocation hearings. They issue search warrants and arrest warrants. They set bail, and they authorize release. They sentence offenders and engage in pre-sentence conferences. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, a suspect is charged with a crime. They must be taken before a judge or a magistrate without unnecessary delay. At the initial appearance, a judge informs the accused of the charges and decides on whether or not there is probable cause for them to stay locked up. The victim is a person or entity who has suffered harm as a result of a crime or civil wrongdoing. In criminal cases, the victim may testify in court, providing evidence of harm that they've endured. According to the text, it was not until 1660 that the word victim was first used in this sense to mean a person who was hurt, tortured, or killed by another. Victims are the people or communities that suffer physical, emotional, or financial harm as a result of a crime. A witness is anyone who provides testimony in a courtroom. Witnesses may be called by either the prosecution or the defense to testify about facts relevant to the case. Their role is crucial in helping the court establish the truth by offering first-hand accounts, expert opinion, and relevant information. According to the text, witnesses take the stand and tell what they saw or heard. All right. Police officers investigate crimes, gather evidence, and apprehend suspects. Their role is to ensure that the legal rights of individuals are respected while enforcing the law. Police officers often serve as key witnesses in criminal cases, providing vital testimony regarding the investigation collected. Police officers make arrests based on probable cause. Probable cause is any facts, evidence, or circumstances that would lead a reasonable and prudent person to believe that a crime was committed. If a police officer establishes probable cause based on the totality of the circumstances, then they can make a physical arrest. They can make arrests on misdemeanors that occurred in their presence, or they can file for a warrant or a capias on misdemeanors that are not part of the exceptions. There are misdemeanor exceptions. There's like 25 exceptions in which an officer can make an arrest even if the misdemeanor did not occur in his or her presence, such as a battery or shoplifting. Typically, these crimes would not occur in a police officer's presence, but they can still make an arrest on a battery or a shoplifting or domestic violence as long as they can establish probable cause based on the totality of the circumstances. Let's see. Members of a jury consist of a group of citizens who are selected to evaluate the evidence presented at trial. Their primary responsibility is to determine the facts of the case and in criminal trials to decide whether the accused is guilty or not guilty. The jury is tasked with being impartial, carefully weighing the evidence, and delivering a verdict. To conclude, each role in the courtroom, from the plaintiff to the jury, plays a vital role in ensuring that justice is served. I hope that was a good, brief explanation of each role in our judicial process and courtroom proceedings. And have a good day. Thank you.